So what you're going to want to do for this last exercise is go to GitHub, click the link, and then click on code. And I would just download the entire zipped file. And I mean, you can put that where your repos are, or you could actually download this to downloads. And then you're going to want to decompress it. And then once you decompress it, you will be able to open it up and run it, and then make a couple little changes. And so it's the SLN file that you are going to need. And because you guys are going to end up putting this on GitHub, I would probably get rid of these Git files because you're going to be uploading those yourself, and it'll create those when you upload. Now, anytime you download, you always want to do a build because sometimes not all of the library information gets uploaded to GitHub, and this just reconciles everything. And so you can see that I have given you a controller. There's no real model in here yet. And then I've also given you quite a few views, and I've customized the layout. I have also given you some CSS and some graphics. You may notice that there's an area folder and a few extras in here because this particular app does have login data. So I did configure it with authentication. So there's a register and login, just so you guys can start getting used to seeing that in your apps. So you should look through this. See what it does. Okay. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to create an employee class. And then you're going to customize this so that you're calculating weekly pay. So that's kind of the end goal. And then finally, you're going to be going into this about page and finding your own graphic and adding a graphic to it. Okay, so your first step is going to be to add a class to models. And I am giving you all the information you need. If I can find the page. All right, so all the information that you need, you're going to call it employee CS, and this is what you need to enter. Then once you have that, you are going to go into the controller and you're going to modify it a little bit. So if we look at the existing controller, okay, you can see, oh, I think that's the modified one. I have a couple versions of this running. Let's try that again. So if we look at this one, you can see for calc pay, I have a get, but I do not have a post. So what you're going to be doing is adding the post to it. And what that's going to look like, I have it in the directions, but it's also nice to see it, what it looks like when it's in the controller. So this is basically what you're going to be adding. Okay, and the get is already there. So that is the first part. And then the next thing you got to do is modify the view. And so you need to look at the future value index view because what you're going to do is very similar to that. Um, so in fact, it's almost identical. You're going to need to pull in the employee model. That has to be at the top of the page, and it's going to be something like this. And then the only difference between the future value index and this is that the clear button, when they click on clear, we want it to route to the index page. And so we're specifying the home controller, the index action method, and that is when they hit clear. Okay, so we're having it route a little differently, but the error messages and everything you should be familiar with. I can show you quickly what that looks like in here. Okay, so this is the new and improved Calc Pay. You can see I've got the at model, detective agency models here, pulling that in. Then I've got the form, which looks very similar to what we saw in future value. Method is post when they submit this. And then you can see that I've got the helper tags. And then I've got the input tag where the data is actually going to go. And I do have this formatted a little bit for columns, just so that they line up nice. And then instead of putting all the validation at the top, on this one, I have put it below or next to each one. Okay, but if you wanted to put it all at the top, that would be okay. That's kind of your call. And then here is how I'm routing the clear. The only other thing that you need to do to this app is add a graphic in the About page, and it can be whatever graphic you want. I did the column thing, so I've got a row here. I've got one column here, and then the rest of the text I put next to it. Okay, but it's kind of up to you how you want to do that. So how this looks, I'm going to go ahead and run it. Whoops, it does not like it because I already have one running. So hold on a second. All right, I ended my other one. Now I've got my new and improved one running. So this is what the calculate looks like. And if I don't fill it in, that's what I get. Oops, hours. Let's see, 40. And then if I calculate, and I can clear it and it routes me to my index. So that's how yours should work. And then my about page, I put in this lovely little graphic. Okay, so that is what you need to do for this. And when you're done, you will push everything up to GitHub and submit the link.